Hey there, it's Richard and I'm giving you a few tips on how to care for your peace lily. I don't know whether you remember, but we got hold of this peace lily. It was given to us free of charge by somebody who didn't want it, and that was a couple of months ago. And I did a video on how to prune it, and I'm just giving you some progress on the plant. As you can see, it's doing fairly well. But I've noticed what I need to do is give the leaves a little dust. And I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm also going to share with you how I feed it and what my regime is for feeding. So first of all, I'm going to give you a couple of tips on how to clean it. Now, what I'm using is a microfiber cloth. You can buy these as packs. And I find them really, really useful because they're washable, they pick up dust, you don't need to use any polish or anything like that. They just pick up dust just by simply wiping across the surfaces. So I'm going to use one of these to pick up the dust on the leaves. It's a really simple process. Be gentle. But all you're going to do is support the leaf underneath with one hand and just dust the leaf. I don't know whether you can see, but I can see the dust. So I'm going to repeat that process over each leaf. Just a couple of strokes on each leaf. And you just remove the dust, because peace lilies apparently suck in pollutants and purify the air. So in order for them to do that well, the leaves have got to be clean. So dusting them, cleaning them is a good thing. I don't recommend that you buy the sprays or use milk, as some people do. My mum used to use milk in water. I've tried it, but I don't find it does anything at all, really. Simply dusting with a soft cloth should be enough. I'm just going to move round here. That's all you're doing, just giving them a quick dust. And if you notice any leaves that maybe are slightly damaged or you think could go, cut them off, prune it. Very easy, simple to do. That's removed lots of dust. Lots and lots of dust. Okay, that's great. Not sure whether you can see that. Look at that. That's the kind of build-up of dust that happens. There we go. So that can go in the wash and it will just get washed. That's great. So, feeding. Now, for feeding, I don't know whether you can see this. I'm going to try and bring this up to the camera and focus it. This is Baby Bio, and this is a very popular plant food. I tend to follow the instructions on this because, they're there for a reason. So what I tend to do is I tend to feed the plant every 2 weeks. Now this says here use a capful to 2 pints. So I tend to use a little bit less than that. And what I tend to do is I tend to do a big water with feed, so that's a good 2 pints, maybe a little more, with about, I don't know, 10 drops maybe, 10 to 15 drops of this in a good couple of pints, so that's maybe slightly over 2 pints, every 2 weeks. And then in between that, so every in between week, I water about half a pint with a couple of drops of this. So that tends to do well. And I'm not sure whether you can see from there, but there is, the flower has really developed. So I'm going to show you that flower now. So here we go. Here we go. I'm not sure whether you can see just at the back there. Let's focus it. There we are. You can see the white flower there. And you can see the leaves are really nice and glossy. After that, dust. And just down here, just at the base, is the beginning of another flower, which is just starting. You can also see some of these need to be removed, some of these stalks. So I'm going to have to get in there and really cut back again. But I think on the whole, it's doing really well and looking pretty healthy and quite big now. Look, there's a bit of damage on that leaf, so that leaf could come off. So just to recap, a good feed with 10 to 15 drops to 2 pints of water every 2 weeks, and then in between about half a pint of water with maybe 5 drops of Baby Bio in during the growing season. So plants do tend to go a little dormant in the winter, although for houseplants, I've known houseplants to grow during the winter because you've got central heating, so I think that fools them into believing it's a different season. So you can find that many houseplants just keep on growing, but they do definitely have a boost in the spring and the summer, hence the flower shooting up. And you know, if you feel there are some leaves with damage, give it a trim. And the reason I'm feeding a good, 2 pints is because the pot is really big. It's a really large pot. Obviously, you scale that down for smaller plants. Yeah, so if you've got a plant in a tiny pot like this, that's only going to need, half a pint of water every 2 weeks probably, with a much smaller amount of Baby Bio, just a few drops. So, you've got to think about the amounts and scale it according to the plant. This plant needs a good feed and a good water every couple of weeks, and it needs a bit in between. It may not need the in-between water during summer because the heating's not going to be on. So there's not going to be as much evaporation. You also got to consider that too. I think they probably need a little bit more water in heated situations, so i.e. springtime. Use your common sense, use your logic. If you live in a very warm environment, so you like to have the heating on, they'll need a little bit more water because they will dry out more readily. So there you go. That's an update on the lovely peace lily. And the next time I give it some attention, I'll show you. Bye for now. Oh, and remember to subscribe. Thank you.